Going on, everyone? It's OxxyOG. Today,
2, 1.
going to be talking about 16 Priory as Fury. A key that I did not expect to get timed in a pug, but honestly, we've had a really good week this week, so we're almost Resol 16. Just got to do a metery. I just wanted to do a little talk through of this so that we can go over some of the good and not so good things. Now, in this run, we didn't have the Priory buff that you get from this little fountain here, so that kind of sucked. But alright, first pull, probably one of the scariest parts of the dungeon, if I'm being honest. There's three things that you really need to be concerned about here. It's the Knight's Disrupting Shout does a lot of AoE, the Thunderclap from Suleiman does a lot of AoE, and then the traps that go on the ground, especially when held in the corner like this, can sometimes not go in the square pattern and can get under your feet. Those things are very important. I typically try to focus down the Knight, and when I know that a Thunderclap's going to go off, I usually try to use my Rallying Cry. Another very important thing about this dungeon, or this pool in general, is to use your Bloodthirst a lot, because you want to try to proc your Thunder Blasts, considering it's such a big pool. It'll help you try to keep up in damage, but as you can see, I still had a really hard time keeping up.
Your training grounds fall to the intruders.
All right. Sorry, baby aggro. Okay, so that first pull is really tough for Fury, but if you have someone that can do big AoE, then you have the very good prio damage to take the Knight down quickly. Once you remove the Knight from the equation, you take out one of the big AoE damage abilities that is possible to combo with something else that could kill your group. Also, once the footmen get below, I think it's 50%, they start to cast that defend where they put the little golden dome over the group. You just want to make sure that you have a shockwave or someone else is AoE interrupting this right here. You can also use your Stormbolt because it does reduce the damage taken by quite a lot. Pretty important. Yeah, so we're just kind of ticking down here, but this Mistweaver was really good. He was pumping out heals. Now, I haven't looked too much into this lunging strike. I don't know if it does damage in a line or if it just randomly picks the second person that it puts the dot on, but sometimes I get the dot, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get it when I'm not standing in the line of the strike, so not 100% sure. I think you just need to be standing out of the way. So I try to always look on my plater at who's being targeted and then adjust my positioning accordingly. And you know, 16s have been feeling pretty good. It's still hard sometimes to get invited, but there are a lot of physical comps going around, so you can just try to get in on one of them. I almost bled out here. I had this bleed on me out of combat, which sucks because you're not enraged. But yeah, I mean, 16s aren't feeling too bad as Fury. You have a lot of prio damage and very good boss damage. We just lack that. We don't look good on the meters, like the overall meters, which does suck because that's what people care about. Even though that isn't always what matters. We're kind of like, I've started to think of us as sort of like a melee arcane mage. You know, we don't do the big, huge, massive AoE, but we can like nuke down targets and bosses, like specific targets. So you want to figure out who it is that is scary in a pack and just kind of like hard focus them, because your priority damage does a lot of damage. So, you know, experimenting more and more with what our strengths actually are in this patch has been nice. I mean, sure, we are underwhelming. It sucks for sure, but we can still prove to be a little bit useful, especially in the right comp. There's really not too much to worry about here. The reflective shield can kind of hurt when this mini boss puts the shield on. It does hurt a little bit, but it's nothing your healer shouldn't be able to heal through. Looking for a spell reflect here would be nice, but I already used this, so we just kick that one out. I'd love to know, anyone who made it this far into the video, let me know what your favorite dungeon this split has been so far. I think my favorite is Rookery, and it's for one specific reason. I really love reflecting the Storm Rook's like lightning barrage or whatever that is called, where it chains lightning on you. I just love it. It just feels so good because it just nukes the bird. Oh. Okay, I had to take a call. Let's get back to it. This was a bit of an unconventional pull that I saw here. It did feel a little cramped and trying not to pull other mobs. This is a little weird. I hadn't seen a tank do this. Healer went down to one of the fire circles, I think, but there isn't a lot of like consistent damage going out here if you get kicked, so it wasn't really all that bad. I was trying my best to keep casts from going off so that people wouldn't die, because without a healer, I'm about the only one that has a lot of self-healing. We got, there goes the rogue. So this is a little bit of a rough pool, and you know, it sucks when this kind of stuff happens early because people tend to get a negative mindset when you start like dying and whatnot early in a key. But the way that I always look at this is, if people are out there completing 20s and stuff, then a 16 has plenty of leeway. Like this guy's saying, oh, I'm sorry, I never moved my mouse for the bottom. This guy's saying Rezzle, right? Like, we don't need the reset for the resilience yet. You know, we're not that far behind. Like, sure, it's possible that we don't time this, but just clean it up. You need to just play clean the rest of the way. Mini boss is going down. Our damage has been pretty good. I did forget to set damage meters to overall, but I think I do that shortly, so. I don't know exactly what the damage increase is on the Priory buff, like the golden orb buff. I assume it's pretty decent, but now the pathing on the pack that is along the stone walkway here, they're kind of far away, and we don't want to chain pull anything, like body pull anything, so he's waiting for them to get here. Kind of sucks because they have some casters. They don't like to move a lot. And sometimes you can feel a little bit helpless as Fury because you can't do anything about the casters. Like, there's a greater heal going off. Luckily, somebody took care of the interrupt. Okay, we see the defend go up, so immediately throw down the shockwave, get that ish off so you can pop off with damage. So again, with the knight, disrupting shout is the big AoE that if like you get pot shot by one of the sharpshooters at the same time that the disrupting shout goes off, you could die. And I try to watch this for other people as well. Like if a hunter is getting targeted, I might use rallying cry so that the disrupting shout plus a pot shot doesn't just one shot them. It's like little things that you can do to try to make sure that your key doesn't like have another death and then another death. Little things I'm always looking out for to see if I can help, because in a pre-made, somebody will be typically, your shot caller will typically be calling out like, hey, you need to press, you know, your rallying cry here. I don't have anything for this. I don't have any defensives, whatever. But here, none of that. You just have to figure all that on your own. So I'm always trying to look for like where things can be used the best. This boss is just a pretty standard, straightforward. I honestly don't think this one's all that bad. Biggest thing you might need is on the mauling. You might need to pop like an impending victory, or if the AoE pulsing damage from Emberlance is going off at the same time, you might need to use your enraged regen. I typically save my rallying cry for like the third or fourth holy radiance, this pulse that's going off right here. But it just depends on how the healer's looking. And I always try to have some kind of cooldown for the next pack after this, because it is a really scary pack that he can brick on. So while this boss is like a time crunch and takes forever and you want to like really nuke him down, at the end of the day you can kind of do this boss for an infinite amount of time. So depending, if the boss is below, I don't know, 20%, I might not even throw any cooldowns anymore, just because I need to make sure I have them. If it's just Recklessness and Ravager, I might throw them at 20%, 15%, almost definitely not. But Avatar, I'll pretty much always sit on after a certain percentage. So I used it here because we're still at halfway. So this tells me, okay, my cooldown should probably all be up for the next pack, like just in time based on the pacing that we're already going. But yeah, it's no joke that this boss takes forever. That's why you bring the Fury. The Arcane Mage of melee, that's what I'm saying. Look at the boss damage. The rogue probably gonna catch up to me, but look, looking good. Yep, so 22%, I said I need to throw my Recklessness immediately. If I do, then by the time he's dead and we get up there to pull the next pack, I'll most likely have it back. If he was like much lower, I probably don't pull it, don't use it at all. There's just no point. So you can see here, I pop an Impending Victory and my Enrage because I was starting to get low. It was like right on the back end of the pulsing. I got the Savage Maul, and that can prove to be pretty deadly. Hey, boss is dead. We got 10 seconds on Avatar, just like I had hoped, and 10 seconds now on Recklessness. So everything lined up perfect, just how I wanted it to. I didn't fall behind. I thought that we were LOSing here, like most people do, but he just wanted to full send it. That's fine with me. I mean, I'll full send it. So Pop Lust. And this is like, the way that he pulled this, he said low on CDs. I thought it was funny because I thought that meant that he was going to pull small. And then he pulled like this, and I was like, oh, okay, we're not pulling small. So here, I'm just trying to get whatever kicks I can and try to cover people from getting killed, especially if a Sacred Toll is going off. You have to watch kicks. You just have to. You have to pay attention to it. You need to know who's getting targeted. The Sacred Tolls, they really, really hurt. So having Plater, knowing when they're getting cast and who's getting cast on by certain abilities and not standing in that holy ruptured ground like I just did, the Consecration, yeah, that's the kind of stuff you don't want to do. I got the Cone of Shame, unfortunately. So that pull went really well. That was a good use of Lust, because this room in general typically takes like a long time. So I really like that use of Lust. A nice like 2-pack plus the little Disciple guys that are in the middle. Try to make sure that the priests don't get too many casts off. I used my Spell Reflection a little bit improperly there, unfortunately, but we just want to make sure heals don't go off and people aren't getting like comboed by different abilities. We're looking good. Kick that, make sure our hunter doesn't get comboed. I kind of want to make a third tracking pane for my kicks, because I feel like lately my kicks have been doing really, really well, and I would really like to see like where I stand I should technically have like some of the most kicks because I'm melee DPS, so the kick has a reduced cooldown, but I'd be interested to see. Now I do wish that the tank pulled. Oh, well, I wish that the rogue didn't die so that the tank could pull here, but unfortunately he got. I guess he got womboed, so he died. So we're kind of lagging a little bit now. We had good momentum, but now the room, you know, it's taking a little long. But it's just my Recklessness and Ravager, so I'm going to send them here on this pack because I should be able to farm it back in time for the boss. And then I'll have all cooldowns up for the boss. So while Recklessness cooldown is what, like 45 seconds, you can usually farm it back if you have constant uptime in 30 seconds, sometimes a little less. Depends a little bit on your haste. Oh, I think Recklessness is a minute and a half. Is it a minute or a minute and a half? I don't even know. I'm so used to it always being reduced. I don't even know what the base cooldown is, but I know that you can get it back in like 30 to 40 seconds typically. So using it for just like a little pack like this is totally fine. Let's see, I get it up. They're gonna die, and I'll have everything up for the boss. Okay, this boss is an awesome boss for Fury. Every time you see the soul well, like the thing where you have to soak over and over, get cast, right as the cast is finishing up, you can go ahead and cast the spell reflection. You're gonna see your damage like spike big on the boss. It's huge damage, and it keeps you from having any possibility of ever dying in this fight, to be honest. There's just nothing that's actually scary for you. So you'll see, I'll pop spell reflect right around the end of this cast here. So there's that, shield comes out. We reflect it, it's huge damage. Try to stay stacked with your group so that those shields don't get spread everywhere, and then let your tank take care of the soaks. On the 5 soak, I think it depends on the tank whether or not they need help. Sometimes I'll pop in rage regen and help them because I can live the dot, but most tanks seem to be able to do it, at least on the key levels I've been running. As you get higher, it might be a tad different. I know people like bringing on holy DKs because they can use AMS to soak every other. So you see the rogue and the hunter got really low there, but I was chilling. So always spell reflect. Okay, one more. You can see how nice that reflect is. You know, Fury's single target damage is already pretty darn good, so you throw in like a big scaled up boss ability and you're looking at some really good damage. Now we have big cooldowns coming back up too. Let's pump. Yeah, I used to think that this boss was probably the hardest boss of this dungeon, but as I've climbed up and seen it more, it's really not bad at all. But I think that Fury, or Warrior in general, just gets to play it on easy mode, because reflecting that just takes out all the danger of the fight. It's really nothing scary for us. It's just about whether or not we get the soaks out, right?
5, 4, 3, 2.
I did sit a little bit too long on setting out my Ravager there. That was my fault. I was silly, but this is the weird one. Somehow I didn't reflect it. I was confused as to how that happened. I think I used it like right as it hit me, and so it didn't damage me, but it also didn't reflect it. It was weird. So I lost out on a little bit of damage there. He probably would be dead already, but that's okay.
5,
That one, that overlap, he always casts the pyre in the hammers. Just don't get greedy for damage. It's like, I think it's like the 6th. He always does it like that. It's annoying. Just don't be greedy. It's not worth it. Alright, so there's 2 priests in this. I typically always try to focus down the priests, because the longer the fight goes on, the better the chance that your group's going to mess up on interrupts. So I just feel if I full target a priest, kick whenever possible, pop a shockwave when possible, then hopefully the kicks won't go off. And hopefully they don't get any heals off, because then you're going to really stall out your pack. So using my prio damage to really focus down those casters, because these guys we can fight forever and I'm not too worried about them. It's more so about not having to worry about kicks for like 30 seconds plus. So as I've been climbing more, I just sort of have taken on my own role of just becoming the guy that nukes down like certain ads that are like problem ads. And that has been working really well, because if you take out the risk factor of a pool, then it just becomes like a time thing, right? So I didn't want anybody to be casting, so I was a little generous there with the amount of time. And here I'm looking for kicks as well. The mage has the volley, also has some pretty hardcore single target spells as well. So with there being sacred tolls going off, you just don't want people to get comboed. So like always, I'm looking for who I can focus kick and then focus down as well. Typically won't target the light spawn very much because they die at 25%. So I'll focus on the priests or maybe the mage, make sure that those casters get down. And then I'll start to focus on the paladins because of their sacred tolls.
Beledar is the crucible. It burns away weakness. Its blinding light reveals the strength.
A little awkward there.
The Arathi lack with an army of the risen. The Arathi will defeat the Nerubians, conquer Khazar, and subjugate the world.
We got 2 priests again and a mage, so lots of kicks. So again, you can see this priest is like just melting, right? Already 50%. I'm just full on prio targeting this priest. The less kicks we have to deal with, the better. I mean, this is always what my thought process is. And that is exactly why. You see the rogue just get absolutely nuked right there. And yeah, I mean, we probably had interrupts of some sort, but sometimes you tunnel on trying to make sure that everything else is getting taken care of, and next thing you know, somebody gets one shot. So trying to get these casters down. So right now, I'm kind of looking at this and saying, like, man, 8 minutes and 40 seconds left. We got, like, look at all these ads that we have to kill. We got a whole boss to kill. It's looking pretty rough, but like I always say, try to keep a positive mindset. You know, if something isn't very clearly, obviously brick, there's no reason to act like it is. Just keep pumping as much as you can and just go from there. Okay, so we got 2 volleys that can go off here, but we both just used an AoE interrupt. I'm still sitting on my kick though, so I'm just trying to play fill kick here. If you know your team's been doing good at kicking, sometimes it's better off to, if they're doing too good at kicking, sometimes that means you're going to overlap if you're too quick. So what I'll do when I realize if my team is like doing pretty good at kicking is I will literally just let them all kick first, and then when I realize everything's on cooldown and I see something about to go off, then I'll finally kick, because holding your kick is a little better than overlapping a kick, because if everybody overlaps, then you may be left without a kick and a cast could go off. This guy hurts. I had never seen Lust on this mini boss. I did really like it because he chain pulled. I thought that was really nice. But something to note is that these ads, I think it's only the 2 ads on the side of the steps, like the 2 packs on the side of the steps. Nope, actually it's all of them. So every ad in this area seems to explode when they die. So I'm guessing it's the ones that are with him, like standing with Braunpike, the mini boss, in the middle, and then the ones on the sides of the stairs. They all explode. and it hurts a lot. So you need to be ready with something when they go down. Ooh. Yeah, it hurts. Just gonna top myself off with a little impending victory there. You can see the ads exploding. They do a lot of damage, but no, I was really trying to be utility focused here for this dungeon, and in doing so, I think I did lose some valuable damage. Like you could see I'm like a million below these two in DPS. I mean, that's pretty typical of the Fury charts for the most part. Like, it tends to be that way, but you know, if you don't focus on the kicks and everything, then the dungeon might be just beat anyway. So there's a little bit of damage to make sure that you're getting kicks and stuns off where needed, and then as you get more comfortable with like the high hitting stuff, you can then focus on getting your damage meters up. If kicks are going off like crazy because you want to tunnel your rotation, then people are going to die and you're probably going to have a rough time. Okay, so 5 minutes to do this boss doesn't really seem all that bad. It's just going to come down to, is everybody going to live? And, you know, we'll go from there. So, my rallying cry's up in a minute. There's a specific place that I like to use my rally here.
2, 1.
It's during a blinding light when somebody's getting chased around by Purify. Typically up in the upstairs, because there's like that AoE pulse you just saw. When that goes off, and a blinding light, and a Purify all at the same time, so somebody's having to run around while she's doing the turn your back thing. I typically save my rally for that, because it can be like the difference between somebody just ticking down and then getting nuked and not. And this guy ran right through the boss. That was a little unfortunate, but I did what it. And this boss hurts. Boss hurts a lot. You can see if there's one thing that we do good, it's the boss damage.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that was close. I think I accidentally stepped into the darn consecration on the ground. Okay, so we're gonna book it up there and just focus on getting the shield broken ASAP. Not really any need to use rally here. We just get up there and, you know, let our leech heal us up. This damage isn't too crazy. And then usually people will have some sort of like CC for these guys on the left and right coming up. You see the Ring of Peace. The other one's just gonna get slowed. I'm guessing it was Blinding Sleet on Death and Decay. But I like to drop a shockwave on them too, just to make sure nobody gets tagged by the ads. It's a troll when she casts on herself, but we're 4 melee, so what can you do?
4, 3, 2, 1.
I didn't even realize he immunity'd that. That's funny. I didn't even think about that. Just stood there. Lucky. I want an immunity. Can I get an immunity? Okay, so Purify Beam's coming out. Let's see what that goes on. And then Blinding Light. And you can see people are ticking down from the AoE. So we pop Rally. It might not have been the difference between someone dying and not there, but it looked pretty close. It might have been. And so that's the exact spot I'm talking about. Perfect spot to use it. It's a lot of overlaps. And people are having to run around. That extra 10% health can save your key from being wiped. I mean, it's huge. Hey, Purify, we just gotta not die here.
3, 2, 1.
And we're looking good. GG. That's a wrap. Just a heads up, I did another key after this and got $33.99, so I got gate kept from $3,400. That's fun. Anyway, GG. Good luck out there, guys. See you in the next one.